sometimes it hides. Ah. This has been a few years ago. Look at that. What's names on it? What year? Do you know how old you were in 1990?
I believe our story starts in Conway on November the 20th, 2010, where we went over to Conway to help Mark move.
We had the blessing of driving over to Conway and being able to help pack Mark out of a 3-bedroom house to be able to move into temporary housing before he would graduate in May. And the guys had a blast. It was so much fun. And towards the end of that day, Mark needed to go to work and walked in where I was packing up the kitchen. And he's always known for his bear hugs. And he walked up behind me and put his arms around me and he said, "Mom, I thank you so much." And I turned and looked in his eyes and I just had something in my heart just squeezed thinking, this is different. And he looked down at me and just hugged me so tight and just said, "Thank you."
The last thing we said to Mark that night was we hugged him and told him we loved him. During his time in UCA, he had become very actively involved in the New Life Church in Conway. He was on the youth staff on a Sunday afternoon where they were goofing around in the parking lot, and he came out and jumped up on the back of a pickup truck that was leaving. And we don't know all the details on that, but we do know that when he went to jump down, he lost his balance and hit his head, which resulted in a severe brain injury.
There was no expectation of life continuing on earth for Mark. And it's a very sobering reality. It's very easy to go back 15 months and remember that day. It's forever etched on all of our hearts. And through the course of minutes, we began being so surrounded by our community group, by our friends, by our church family, by Mark's family, church family from New Life in Conway. People just began pouring into the hospital to the point that the chaplain who was meeting with us said, "You all are going to have to do something about these people. We have no place for this many people in the hospital." And of course, we were thrilled because there were so many people in those walls just earnestly pleading with our Father for his life. And we knew that without question, that whatever the next hour held, whatever the next day held, whatever the next week held, all of that was a perfect part of God's plan. I'm humbled, I think, beyond words in looking at how there were hundreds, literally hundreds of people, many of them students, many of them kids and adults that we'd never met because they were a part of Mark's world in college. And we just saw the power of their prayer. We saw dozens coming to Christ for the first time. We listened to the impact that their lives and all of the ways that they were serving us ministered to the medical staff, for the teams that were there, to the other people who were in the waiting room, especially in those early few months. And the question would be asked, "I don't understand." And it was always such an easy thing to say, "Do you know God? Do you know your Father?"
Hey, are you cheating? Say strategy. And you better give a big.
Do a 1, do a 5 or a 2. Is it my turn? Okay, in that case. Oh my goodness, to see where the Lord has brought him from where we started is beyond our ability to even fathom. You know, it was just a daily, weekly, amazing thing to see that they really thought he would be blind. and his sight is great. Thought he would not have any ability to hear, and he hears very, very well. His taste is there, his ability to smell. He loves to eat, and that was one of the things I so wanted him to be able to have back, because he loves that so much and always has.
And so the most incredible thing about all of this, another one of those miracles, is that he has his personality. He is the Mark Webb every day. I mean, he's a jokester. He is a comedian, as anybody that knows Mark. And he also didn't lose his touch to give hugs, which is just another part of the miracles, why we call him Miracle Mark.
We can have incredibly hard days. We had one of those yesterday. And then last night, we stood by Mark's bed and prayed and listened to him sing, "I love you, Lord." Listen to him sing, "Holy, holy, holy." Listen to his words giving back to us. Washes away all of the difficulties that certainly are present when you're in an evolving situation of recovery. And it is a long journey of recovery, but it is not one that we are ever alone in. God's presence is continual, and it is so evident as we thank and praise Him. It's for all that He has done. It's for all that He's doing today. And it's for all that we have assurance that He will continue doing from this day forward and forevermore.
This sounds like it has been one miracle after another, but there's also has been some very hard times where we've really had to give it to God. Otherwise, we'd go nuts. But either way, to achieve the peace, you have to give up control and be willing to accept whatever happens. And this is what this story is all about. Through the miracles of God working, of us trusting Him and giving Mark to God, and God blesses us. And it's really, truly been a blessing.